believe that you will be with Susan in the same room. So yes, and so if our parents we'll give them option saying that if you want to meet school number 1, you type 1 in the box. If you want to meet school number 2, you type 2 in the box, and so on. And after we collect those information, or maybe they can type it in the WhatsApp, send it back to us, because we all get their phone numbers, and we will split them up afterwards. But if no one's going to ask individual questions, we also collected some group questions to be asked at the back at the end of the session. So there will be a big Q&A instead, if no one's interested in doing some small individual talking. But we do collect some inquiries and questions. So it will be up to you to answer or to see if they get specific questions to specific school. But we'll leave them to ask about it after they listen to all the school's presentation.
So one of my house parents can join me for the breakout rooms. It will be another Stamford email address. Is that okay? Somebody able to let her in and pop her into the breakout room? It's just if it is specific boarding questions, obviously she's able to talk as a house parent, and also it's a different voice rather than hearing me again.
Yeah, well, they can join here.
That's fine. I've sent her the information to join, so just so you're aware, there will be another person from Stamford appearing.
Yeah,
but yeah, just
ask her to join, and we can put her into the same room with you.
Yeah, fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon here. Good morning there. It's early in the morning. Thanks for joining. The session is about to start in 3 to 5 minutes. We are awaiting a little bit more audiences to come in. Thanks for coming. It will be a small session for now because we do it for the first time. But we hope the feedback are okay. Each of the school will give a small presentation, and afterwards, if students and parents got questions to ask, they can obviously ask in the big group, or they can, if they want individual question sessions, we can split them up into split rooms to ask you on one-to-one questions. But it all depends on their reaction. But for now, the plan is I'll give a little bit small talk in Cantonese, and then we will go on to have students and parents. We will go on to have you guys to have a presentation, and afterwards, after all 3 schools give your presentation, we'll have a breakout room session, or we can have a big giant Q&A session. Depends on the reaction of the audiences. But we're still awaiting some more people to come in.
Sure. Jonathan, just a quick one from me, if I may. I've got a PowerPoint that I'd like to share. So will you be the host and just pass the host over to me when you're ready?
Yes, we have just made you co-host.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So let me just check. I think we're still waiting for a few more to come in because they knew the session is going to start at 6, but maybe they will be slightly late. So bear with us just 1 second.
Jonathan, I have a short video as part of the presentation. I just wanted to check if the audio is on.
Yeah, I think you can try it on now.
Fab, thank you.
Hello, John. Are you trying to share the screen and test the video?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hello, Jenny. Nice to meet you here. This is Jonathan from Skyridge. Hello, thanks for joining. We're still waiting a few more people to come in, and we are waiting John to see if his PowerPoint and video are going to work. We are, in the meantime, waiting for a few more audiences to come in. And I've just briefed the two a little bit earlier ago that we are going to have a big session that you guys are going to give a presentation of more introduction to your skills and some key points of what you want to go through with the parents and students here. And afterwards, we'll have a big Q&A session, and students and parents, they may ask individual questions, or they may ask the question in the group. So if they got individual questions, we will split them into small groups so they can talk to you one-to-one. We will have options for them to sign up which room or which school they are going to talk to or they wanted to talk to. And afterwards, we will assign them into the rooms. Hello, John. We can see the PowerPoint now.
Can you see that okay, Jonathan?
Yes, we saw that.
Great.
I'm sorry, John, but there is no video showing.
Okay, sorry, I was. I'll go to the video and just double check that that works.
Yep, we can hear that. Yes.
Right. Fabulous.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can start now. So in the meantime, we are going to wait. We're going to start first, so we don't delay too much of your time. Okay, John, is it okay if you stop sharing so I can share my screen?
Sure.
Thank you, fabulous. Thank you. Okay, so just a second. apologize, guys. My session will be in Cantonese, but I mean, if parents and students they wanted to know more about the school but shy on English, we will do the translation for you guys as well. But my session will be in Cantonese. Hello, 各位家長、各位同學，你哋好啦。咁歡迎大家嚟到 Skyreach 嘅 online 嘅 seminar 啦。咁我哋今日咧好高興啦，咁啊邀請到幾間學校，係特登咧佢哋喺英國嘅學校嚟嘅，咁佢哋特登咧就翻英國嘅時間啦。咁佢哋依家係朝頭早10點鐘啦，咁啊 join 我哋嘅seminar。咁okay, let me introduce to you. We have 3 schools here. John from Myddelton.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Hello, John.
Hi.
Hello.
Good
and
afternoon.
Joe from Stamford.
Hi, nice to meet you all.
And also Jenny from Bishop Stortford.
Hello, lovely to meet you all.
Okay, thanks very much, guys and ladies. 係啦，咁咧3個學校咧，其實都係英國佢哋開過嚟，即係英國過嚟嘅。咁我哋好高興佢哋今日嚟能夠 join 到我哋嘅 seminar 啦。咁希望大家可以直接同院校啦去見面啦，去傾偈啦，或者係再了解個學校嘅。咁今日咧，我哋主要講3間學校啦。咁呢3間學校有咩各自嘅特色咧？咁樣。咁首先咧，我哋去sorry 啊，咁咧我哋去睇一睇啦。咁大概咧地點咧，其實咧3間學校咧，其實大概喺呢一度啦 ，roughly 啦，即係唔係一個好準確嘅位置嚟嘅。Sorry if I pinpoint the map a little bit, not as exactly as they are supposed to be, but this meant to be just showing around the area. But I think it's accurate enough for people to know the place around. 係啦，咁咧首先咧最中間呢一個Myddelton 呢個學校啦，咁其實佢喺 Wales 有威爾斯嘅。咁其實喺 Wales 咧，佢去 Manchester 咧，咁其實大概就個零鐘嘅時間啦。咁另外咧 Stamford 咧喺呢一個位置啦，其實 Stamford 咧最近嘅城市咧喺呢一度咧就係一個 Peterborough 嘅地方啦，都係比較唔係 exactly 係大城市嚟嘅。咁但係佢最近嘅城市落去 Cambridge 啦，其實佢去左邊啲，即係去西邊啲咧，就已經係Birmingham 啊、Nottingham 啊呢啲地方㗎啦。咁 Bishop Stortford 咧，其實就最近 London 嘅。Bishop Stortford 咧，其實就大概喺 London 嘅 Stansted Airport 附近啦。咁 London 嘅 Stansted Airport 咧，其實就係去歐洲嘅廉航嘅主要嘅，即係其中一個機場啦。咁Ryanair 成日都會飛Stansted 㗎啦。咁咧好近呢個機場，咁係一個大型嘅學校嚟嘅。Stamford 咧係一間綜合型嘅學校啦，佢有男校女校啦。咁 Myddelton 咧就係比較細型嘅學校啦，但係咧都好靚，非常之靚嘅。咁呢3間學校咧，其實各有特色啦，都係英國傳統嘅寄宿學校啦，都係以收英國學生為主，但係其實佢哋亦都會有收香港學生啦。同時間咧，亦都會 consider 呢個 BNO 嘅申請嘅學生嘅。咁我哋咧開始正式佢哋講之前啦，咁有少少嘅 introduction 啦。咁咧就等大家有個基礎認識嘅，即係如果大家之前冇 join 過我哋嘅 seminar 或者之前係冇聽過我哋嘅話咧，咁其實首先咧，我哋就會有唔同嘅國家啦，即係雖然我哋冇唔同國家，佢哋入大學嘅要求啦，佢哋嘅收唔收 BNO 啦，佢哋嘅課程啊，揀咩科目啊咁樣。咁如果咧聽過呢部分嘅咧，咁當溫個書啦，或者你可以稍為去個5分鐘嘅 break 都可以嘅，係啦。咁首先咧，第一個部分啦，點解揀英國中學啦？咁又再講多一次啦。咁最主要原因其實第一樣嘢，本身香港學生咧都唔係個個考到啲5星啊、5星5啊、5星星呢啲分數啦。咁所以咧喺呢一個時候就如果讀英國中學咧，咁就比較容易入到啲英國大學，甚至乎咧你話要翻香港讀呢一個嘅A level，即係讀完 A level 翻香港咧，香港亦都承認嘅。咁 如果你話要直入一啲嘅勁啲嘅大學，好似係Imperial 啊、UCL、Oxford、Cambridge 咁就更加要考慮英國嘅中學啦。咁有啲咩好處啦？除咗傳統之外啦，咁咧 GCSE 同埋 A-level 咧香港都 recognise 嘅。咁另外 boarding school 咧個 discipline 就會特別好啲咧，因為佢會限住你，譬如8點鐘返學啦，然後就去到3點幾放學，放咗學之後咧要做一啲嘅課外活動啦，跟住食飯啦，食完飯之後咧就仲要有課後嘅溫習時間啦，或者啲討論嘅時間啦等等啦咁樣。咁另外 A-level 個好處咧就係咧可以 focus 喺3至4個學科嘅，係啦。咁有啲特別嘅學科啦，咁咧特別要揀 A-level 嘅。上次都有講過㗎啦，譬如 engineering 嘅，咁如果你香港冇揀 M1-2 嘅，咁你英國揀唔到 engine 啦。有啲 top 嘅學校嘅 business 嘅，譬如 Warwick 啊、LSE 啊，你香港冇讀 M1-2 咧，佢入得比較難會入得到啦。一啲 healthcare 嘅科目你冇把握 cam 比較難會入得到。咁所以咧如果你缺少呢啲科目嘅，其實都值得考慮讀 A-level 嘅。咁有個少少嘅學制啦，咁喺呢一度嘅，咁你會見到啦。咁其實香港讀完中一咧，過去讀中二或者中三嘅，上次亦都講過點解會咁樣嘅咧？因為咧，如果你跟歲數咧就讀中三，跟你程度就讀中二。另外咧都要睇你係叫我哋俗稱叫做大 B 定細 B 啦。9月前出世嘅，如果你去政府學校嘅話咧，咁肯定係要跳一班㗎啦。咁但係你9月之後先出世嘅話咧，咁有機會你係唔需要跳班啦。係啦，咁個程度上就銜接得會好啲嘅。咁啊，中二就升中三、中四啦，中三就升中四。咁如果你本身香港讀完中三，理論上你過到去個歲數就係讀中5㗎啦，咁啊非常之尷尬嘅。咁啊，另外中四過到去咧，理論上就讀中6，咁係一個好大嘅 gap 啦。咁所以點解我哋亦都有啲學校咧，要1年制嘅 GCSE 叫 IGCSE 課程咧，俾大家嘅，係啦。咁所以大家咧考慮去升學嘅時候，一定要留意翻嗰個年紀啦，同埋自己報讀嘅年級中間需唔需要跳級啊、成啊咁樣啦。咁比較大嘅 intake 咧，嗰邊啦，中2、3，即係Grade 8、Grade 9啦，係比較多 intake 嘅，尤其是 Grade 9，即係 Year 9咧係比較多啲嘅，係啦。咁啊比較麻煩啲嘅就係香港讀完 Form 3 4啦，係比較麻煩啲嘅。如果過去公立學校，私校就冇乜問題嘅，私校都做到嘅。咁有啲咩要 consider 啦？其實咧陣間接下落嚟咧，每個學校其實佢哋都會講㗎啦。咁咧就有譬如學校嘅成績啦，佢嘅價錢啦，學校嘅 size 啦。我自己咧就比較睇重 international student 嘅 ratio 啊 ，boarding school 嘅 ratio 啊，或者有啲咩課外活動咧，佢哋係偏向 area 嘅。咁嘅原因係因為咧如果啦你要想像你想要一個小朋友成長嘅環境，可能我要啲鬼嘅。咁咧，你個 boarding school 裏面咧，最好就有啲 local student 啦。咁就唔係間學校咧，boarding school 都有 local student 嘅喎。咁大家要留意。咁有機會咧，有啲學校咧個 boarding facilities 冇咁大咧，咁可能佢哋個 let's say 個 boarding house 係60個人，然後佢收60個 international student， 咁即係話全部都喺晒個 boarding house 度，啲個 boarding house 係全 international 啦。咁大家可能要留意係咪你想要嘅嘢啦。有啲學校咧就全校咧比較多啲人 boarding 嘅，咁喺 boarding 裡面就遇到鬼仔鬼妹嘅機會就大啲。咁但係你又要諗個適應嘅問題係咪你可以適應到佢哋嘅生活嘅 style 啦？因為咧有啲鬼仔鬼妹都幾我哋俗稱幾乸西嘅，係啦。我自己以前讀書嘅時候咧，嗰啲波 boot 啊，即係踢完波咁樣啦，咁擺喺個門口嗰度，咁啊成對鞋都係泥啊嘛，咁啊擺喺門口嗰度由得去吹，勁臭嗰個位，咁啊一個就 OK 啫。當你10幾20個都掉晒一鋪喺嗰度，就好臭㗎啦。咁然後咧就即係除咗呢啲之外咧。佢哋就比起香港學生咧，就比較冇咁注重衞生嘅。我自己會覺得，譬如咧，啲鬼妹有時唔落妝就會瞓覺啦，跟住然後係啦，然後咧我哋都會有見到有啲人係唔洗碗 即係食完啲嘢唔洗碗啊，或者去完廁所唔洗手啊，咁都有見過嘅。佢哋都唔特別 care 嘅有啲，咁所以你話喺初期疫症爆發嘅時候，點解佢哋傳得咁勁？咁其中呢啲就係佢哋嘅問題啦。咁但係唔緊要嘅，咁啊做好自己啦，係啦。咁啊有國際學生又唔一定差，有 local 學生又唔一定好嘅。咁啊最緊要個比例適中就最好啦。咁另外 area 都好緊要啦。咁啊睇下你會唔會係諗住 BNO？ 如果你諗住 BNO 嘅，你去邊個 area 好關鍵嘅。如果你唔諗住 BNO 咧，我自己覺得咧就距離大城市遠啲就會好啲，因為咧距離啲誘惑啊、買嘢啊嗰啲各樣咧就比較距離遠啲，係啦，而且都淳樸少少啦地方，咁其實都非常之好嘅。好，咁咧又翻嚟，大概係呢一個圖啦，咁樣。咁咧其實我哋一開始咧，咁啊未 join 嘅家長咧，咁可能會 miss 咗第一個 slide 啦。咁我哋今日咧係有3間學校嚟嘅，咁分別係 Myddelton 啦、Stamford 同埋 Stortford 嘅。咁再大概講多一次佢哋嗰個嘅分別啦。咁咧 Myddelton 咧其實佢係威爾斯 Wales 啦。咁咧Stamford 咧就係近 Peterborough 嘅一個地方，咁都係一個東部嘅地方啦。咁另外咧 Stortford 咧就比較近倫敦，咁就比較近一個叫做Stamford 嘅機場啦。咁咧去旅行好方便，咁啊翻香港入 London 都方便，而且亦都係一間嘅大校嚟嘅，係啦。咁接下落嚟咧，其實我哋3間學校咧，咁就分別會講解一下佢哋嘅學校啦。咁咧大家咧陣間咧可以有個 breakout room 嘅。咁咧首先咧就係第一個學校啦，咁係 Myddelton 啦。咁第二個學校咧就係 Stortford 啦。咁第三個學校咧就係Stamford 嘅。係啦，唔好意思啊，唔記得改翻個 PowerPoint。OK， 咁咧大家如果係之後想同個學校係單獨去傾自己小朋友嘅情況嘅，咁咧你可以喺留言 chat box 嗰度type 俾我哋啦，1、2、3咁樣啦。譬如我想見1、2嘅，咁你咪1、2咯；我想見1、3嘅就1、3；我想見晒1、2、3就1、2、3咁樣啦。或者咧你可以 WhatsApp 翻俾我哋，去同我哋講你想見呢一間學校，咁我哋會安排你去入翻呢個學校同佢見面嘅。係啦，咁然後咧就會同學校咁單對單咁樣見面，或者咧你留喺個大廳嗰度咧，你繼續同我去傾偈，傾下你嘅情況都得嘅。係啦。So John, Joe, and Jenny, I'm just trying to explain to the audiences that Myddelton College will be number 1. Stortford will be number 2, and Stamford will be number 3. It's also your presentation schedule as well. So Myddelton will go first, Stortford will go second, and Stamford will go third. And if students and parents are interested to talk to you one-to-one, they can type in the chat box saying, let's say 1, 2. So we will arrange them into the split group into Myddelton and then Stortford. And if they say 1, 3, then we'll be Myddelton and Stamford. We'll arrange them into the split rooms to talk to you guys. And they may not do in chat box, they may WhatsApp us, but we'll see how it goes. OK， 係啦，咁家長們啦，咁如果你係想繼續聽呢幾間學校嘅 one-to-one 嘅，咁記得喺留言嗰度啦。咁啊同我哋講咧係1定係2定係3咁樣啦。OK， and so maybe we can start with John。咁咧我簡單介紹一下 John 先。John, maybe I quickly introduce you first, and then you can do some self intro and then your PowerPoint up. OK， so 咁咧 John 咧係 Myddelton College 嘅學校嘅代表啦。咁學校係威爾斯嘅。成績咧其實都近呢幾年都做得非常之好嘅，咁校園好細之餘咧，好靚嘅，咁大家咧都好值得去睇下呢一間學校啦。香港比較少啲家長同埋學生會認識呢間學校，因為其實佢哋今年係第1年喺香港正式係叫做公開咁樣招收學生啦，咁大家都可以睇嘅。So John, I just mentioned a little bit on your skills, saying you've got a pretty campus, also due to some parents may be previously less well known compared to other schools because of the marketing. But please share with us about your school and yourself. Okay, so John, we'll pass the time to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Just share my screen. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much indeed, Jonathan. My name is John. I'm a regional admissions manager for IQ Schools Group. And today I'd like to present Myddelton College, which is based in North Wales, Denbigh in North Wales. As you can see from the map here, we're in the northwest of the UK. Around about an hour and 30 minutes from Liverpool, about the same from Manchester, and our closest city is Chester. Our location is just on the edge of Snowdonia National Park. So we are gifted with fabulous mountains, scenery, and that's very much part of the curriculum. And I'll come on to our outdoor adventure education later on. So some key information about Myddelton College. We're a leading co-educational day and boarding school for students ages from 9 to 18 years of age. Currently, we have around about 25 different nationalities of students studying with us. We're not a big school. We have in total around about 240 pupils, and around 70% of those are domestic day students with a small family of international boarders. We focus on providing outdoor adventure education. We call this LTTO, Learning Through the Outdoors. And we're also a Microsoft Showcase and an EdTech Top 50 school. So technology and using technology in the classroom is very, very important at Myddelton. We also have outstanding academic achievements, and I'll come on to the ISA awards that we've recently won later. I have a short video that I'd like to share that gives you a feel for the environment and in particular the campus. Okay, so moving on, the school is an award-winning ISA school, and last year we won awards for outstanding sports in small schools and also the International Involvement Award through the ISA. So you can see here image of our head and deputy head and our head of sport with those awards there. The ethos at Myddelton is focused on 3 areas: resilience, scholarship and fellowship. And helping students to thrive in the 21st century. At Myddelton, we focus on the traditional route to university. So we have GCSE, we have A-level. We support students in the formative years in key stages 2 and 3. We also have additional programs such as summer school opportunities. We have Oxbridge preparation courses, and we also welcome students that may wish to come and join us to try Myddelton College and life at a British boarding school on our immersion programme, which is anything from a month up to a full term. And at the bottom of the screen here, you can see our latest A-level and GCSE results. Myddelton has been established for around about 7 years now. Prior to that, Myddelton was another school called Howe School for Girls. But here you can see the university destinations of where we've helped our students in those 7 years to progress to some very good universities there, including Imperial College London and UCL. Just looking a little bit more at the 21st century learning, at Myddelton, all students from our very youngest to our most senior are using devices in class, typically iPads. So we try as best we can to move away from the traditional notepad pen, but of course that's still important for examinations. But we do have a very technological approach in class. You can see here on some of these slides some of the remote learning opportunities that there are and how students interact. And here, for example, personalised timetable and messaging between fellow students, staff, enabling students to work remotely. The second focus is our outdoor education provision. This is very important in terms of helping with leadership, team building, developing confidence, handling difficult, stressful situations. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we make the very most of the environment that we have around us at Myddelton for these sorts of activities. Alongside our Learning Through the Outdoor programme, we also run the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme, and we are affiliated with the Combined Cadet Forces too. Moving on now to boarding and pastoral care at Myddelton. Myddelton is a campus school, so all of our facilities, whether it's the gymnasium, the boarding houses, the canteen, the equestrian centre, everything's on site. So that means that that our boarding is literally 1 to 2 minutes from the main school building. So we have a team of very supportive boarding staff at Myddelton. Our students are typically sharing 2 students to a bedroom. And some other important things here, we very much welcome students to stay with us during the half-term break, and that is inclusive in our fees. So that allows students to come and join us for a complete term without having to go off to guardians for things like the half-term break or for exeats. Over the last 18 months, we've developed elite sports academies at Myddelton, and this is focused on tennis, football and equestrian. So in addition to the learning through the outdoors and of course the academic provision at the school, those students that have a particular flair for tennis, football, show jumping, equestrian, then we have external staff that are firstly very talented, but also very high coaches with, for example, the specialist football badges, football training there to support with students that have those requirements and wishes to really focus on football, equestrian and tennis. And then lastly, coming up here are just snapshot essentially of some of the activities that our students at Myddelton College can get involved in. We have a student council, so these activities are frequently changing, but this just gives you, like I say, an idea of the variety of activities at the end of the day, in the evenings and at weekends that our pupils can get involved in and experience. And then moving on to my last slide here is how to apply. So quite simply, myself and my colleagues in the admissions team, we help students from the very earliest stages of receiving inquiries, receiving academic transcripts and passport details, through to the whole support in terms of entry testing, offers, and then supporting with the visa side of things and our enrolment documents. So I hope that has given a brief introduction to Myddelton College, and I'll be delighted to help with any questions that you may have in the breakout rooms later. Thank you very much. Back over to you, Jonathan.
Okay, thank you, John. So, 想問各位家長有冇依家嘢你即刻想問嘅？ Is there any questions that anyone want to ask for now?
學費係咪要遲啲先問到嘅？
哦，唔係㗎，其實依家都可以問嘅呢一啲嘅。Okay, so John, we got one parent would like to ask about the school fee. Do you have the information now you can share?
Yes, the school's fee. The international headline fee is £39,600 per year. That comes out to £13,200 per term. And that's a fully inclusive fee, tuition, boarding, activities. For the sports academies that I mentioned, the equestrian, the tennis, and the football, that would be an additional cost on top of that fee, but that is the international headline fee.
Okay, thank you, John. 係啦，咁佢哋學校大概39,000幾磅一年嘅就包晒所有嘢㗎啦。John, so for the school fee, is it included for things that for example, expenses and also books and uniforms?
Okay, so those things typically are additional.
Okay.
So there is an additional charge for uniform. We expect students to come with a device, and we send out a specification list for the device so that that students can buy that at home, or if not, they can buy through our supplier. And then other costs, other things such as pocket money. Obviously, that's something that the families need to supply. But in terms of all of the activities, all of the tuition, all of the boarding, the half-term stay, and of course all meals and basic activities, that's covered in that fee that I mentioned.
Okay, thank you. 係啦，咁佢哋呢個費用咧就唔包嗰啲學費啊、書簿，但係咧佢哋嗰啲 term break 即係 half term 咧，佢哋可以住喺學校，咁嗰啲都包埋嘅咁樣咯。係啦。
我問一問啊，個費用嗰度聽唔聽到？係
聽到啊。係
佢話頭先咧，佢話包多數嘅 extra， 即係嗰啲 LTTO 係咪啊？佢嘅意思係咪？
嗰啲課外活動大部分都包。
除咗係咪踢波定係咩？好似聽到佢話。
係啦，佢咧有一個 football academy 嘅，咁嗰個就 on top of 就唔包嘅，嗰個就係即係本身學校嗰啲踢波嗰啲即係 P 堂踢波咧就包嘅，咁但係咧如果你要佢哋個 football academy 咧係出去再跟啲隊跟操嘅，咁嗰個就唔包嘅。
哦，同埋想問下間學校幾大到啊？我想問。
Sorry, John. The parent is asking about how large approximately is the school.
In terms of student numbers, we're quite small actually. We have 240 students on roll. So we're not a big school, and I think that's a very important point because it does mean that we can provide students with a lot of individual support.
Okay. How about the size in terms of size, physical size of the school?
That's a really good question. I would need to probably come back with the accurate answer. I don't know the actual complete area.
Is this average? I mean, the average boarding school in UK, is it the size? Is it?
No, I would say compared to some other schools that I visited, that we are a smaller school, and like I say, we are a campus environment, so everything is together. Our boundaries from the school main building, I would say from our furthest point to the other furthest point is probably a 5-minute walk. So we're not talking about a school here that has a huge area. It is a closed school, yeah.
I see.
Acres or hectares, I would probably need to come back with that for you.
係啦，咁啊，係啦，咁佢哋學校咧240人啦，總共咁其實咧上堂嘅範圍就唔係好大，不過其實周邊咧好多啲綠化或者草地，其實都係學校範圍內嘅，係啦，咁但係嗰啲你唔係攞嚟上堂㗎嘛，係啦，咁所以就真係上堂嘅地方就唔係好大嘅。
哦，唔係，其實我喺度諗你240人，咁你係中學嘅啫，係咪啊？佢係中學嘅啫，係包埋小學，咁咪每一堂係好少人咯。
係啊，佢哋係小班教學嘅呢間學校，好小班嘅。
對幾多啊？佢有冇 information？
哦 ，OK，OK， so John, John, do you have a student to staff ratio? And for those 240 students, which age group do they start with?
Okay, so for international students, we typically begin from 11 years of age in boarding for international students, all the way through to 18. We do have younger students at the school as well. So, for example, if you have any applicants, B&O, for example, that are looking to relocate to the area, we can welcome younger students in our prep school if families are obviously coming and relocating. In terms of student-staff ratio, I would say that typically at the lower end of the school, we have a class size average of around about 18. And then at the higher end, A level, for example, less than that, somewhere in the region of around about 10 students per teacher. But that does
John, for those
depending upon the subject.
Okay, sure, understand. So for those 240, that will be including for the prep school students, local students. So
correct,
that means in the senior school will be super small size in terms of student number, because I can imagine some spread out to younger age in the prep school. So in senior school will be roughly like say 100 or maybe 60, 50-ish.
Yeah, I believe it's around about 80 students in the senior school.
Okay, gotcha. 係啦，咁咧啱啱John就話咧，其實咧佢哋第10、11、12、13，即係高中啦，咁啊大概80人成個高中，咁其他咧就初中甚至乎小學嘅，係啦，佢哋由中3開始咧就大概80個人啦，咁另外咧就係佢哋嗰個師生比例咧大概係1對10嘅，大概1對10嘅。
OK，
係，或者咧，如果你再有問題，可以之後再喺個 speak out room 嗰度問阿 John， 可以嘛？
係啊。
Okay. So John, I would just suggest that if she got any further questions, she can come into the split room to ask you individually, so you can just directly answer her.
Absolutely, yeah. Very happy to help with any further questions.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you, John, for the presentation, and we'll leave you a little bit later to the breakout room.
Okay, catch up later, Jonathan.
Thank you. 係啦，好多謝 John 嘅 presentation 啦，關於 Myddelton 嘅。咁陣間咧，如果大家對學校有興趣咧，咁喺個 chat box 度留言寫個1字。咁咧嚟緊我哋係第2間學校啦，就係 Bishop Stortford 啦，會介紹佢哋個學校嘅。Okay, so let us welcome Jenny from Bishop Stortford College to introduce your school and also the unique points of your school, and feel free to share out your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, it says I can't share at the moment.
I just made you co-host.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Okay, brilliant. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. There we go, lovely. Well, thank you for having me, everybody, and it's lovely to meet you. I'm Jenny, and I'm the International Admissions Officer at Bishop Stortford College, which I'll tell you a little bit about today. So we're a right through school from pre-prep, so they start at 4 years old, through to the sixth form when they leave at 18 to go on to university. So we're 3 schools. We're a pre-prep, prep school, and then a senior school, which starts in year 9. They do year 9, year 10, 11 GCSEs, and then year 12 and 13 A-levels. So I'm just going to start by showing you a little video, and you'll hear from the college head, the head of prep, and the head of pre-prep.
Been at Bishop Stortford for very long already, to understand the sense of community and feel the tangible strength of relationships between teachers and children and the children themselves, which is lovely.
There are so many different sports at Bishop Stortford. It's hard to stick to just one.
On your day, just where you bring the detail with strong jokes.
I think the higher education career serves as something to help with university work experience and internship.
We are like them we help children achieve their potential, do that through extreme teaching and well-balanced work. I do GCSE drama, and thanks to the college, it's got its really good thing to bring them together. Be able to ignite intellectual curiosity. They do brilliantly because they want to, they're interested in what they're learning and to do better and find out, which means they get brilliant results. So there are 9 houses on I'm in Holland House, and the atmosphere within the house is really good. It's a great place to socialise with other people.
We build up, I think, community. We really nurture children. They have their teacher. We all know. I think that's created this atmosphere.
Once students should still confident in themselves, they know how to communicate and they can transfer that so they can go into society and make a difference.
So as you can see, a little bit of an overview there of college, and as you can hear, excuse me, our head of college talk about, our main aim is to create fulfilled, happy and skillful students when they leave, and we focus very much on the academic, but equally as much on the well-rounded students. So as you can see, there's a big extracurricular offering, which I'll talk more about later. As Jonathan's mentioned to you, our location is pretty excellent in terms of relation to London, so about a 35-minute drive to London to the centre, and then further north, again, about 30 or 40 minutes into Cambridge. So we do a few of our day trips and things there as well during the weekends. We're also only 8 kilometres from Stamford Airport, which is very handy, about 10-minute drive, so it's very easy access to the rest of Europe as well. Now, Bishop Stortford itself is a historical English, what we call a market town. It was founded about the Middle Ages, a population of about 41,000, have lovely sort of shops and restaurants in the centre. We're only about a 10-minute walk from the centre itself as well. So students, when they have their town time, they can go out. They can go and enjoy having it out with their friends, go and get a pizza and things like that. So it's sort of a lovely location in terms of relation to that. And now, if we look at our campus as a whole, you'll have seen obviously the aerial shots in the video, but this can give us a sort of a bit of a better idea. It's a very large campus, and we host a large offering of sports pitches. So we've got the rugby pitches, cricket pitches, hockey, netball and tennis courts as well. So we're about 150 acres, as you can see there. All facilities are on the same site, so all our teaching, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, we've got the senior school located around here, the prep buildings and school are here, and then the senior school boarding houses are here just across the road. So they're about a 2 to 3 minute walk to their lessons, and the dining hall is right next to the boarding houses where they have their breakfast, lunch and dinner. Again, and then we're about 10 minutes to the train station, so train to London, train to Kent, which is very easy. Now, if we look at a bit of an overview, we are a large school. So across the pre-prep, prep and senior school, we have just over 1,200 pupils, a 50-50-ish split between boys and girls. At present, we have 152 boarders, something which we're hoping to grow. The majority of those are in the senior school, and 39 of those are currently international students. So from various different areas, as you can see here. So we are hoping to diversify and get more boarders into our boarding houses for the upcoming years. We have an elite sports programme, something we're very proud of. So we recognise our talented athletes and we can offer them sort of extra help and training so that they can get to county level to represent their county, nation and play sports at a national level as well. We've sent some students off to do that. For example, one of our students went to play for the Irish rugby team. So they are given extra training. They have contact with a sports psychologist who coaches them and with a nutritionist so that they can develop their sports skills. We also have a swimming pool on campus, which is an excellent offering. They can go and use it in their free time. They're boarding as well. Sometimes they get up early in the morning, go for a swim, and then they have lessons in swimming as part of their core sports. So our core sports, we do 2 core sports per term. So we've got hockey, rugby, cricket, netball, tennis, and swimming, which I already said. Music is also one of our offers. We offer music scholarships for talented musicians and lessons on site, and we also do concerts. And we have our own theatre as well on site, and our own art block. So there's a dedicated art block which has a sculpture studio, a dedicated space for sixth form students where they have their own sort of pod and they can start their projects, do their research and carry on from the year 12 throughout to year 13 when they finish their A-levels. So they've got their own dedicated study space. It's a really nice atmosphere in there as well. So students often go in their free time to continue their projects and sort of hang out there and enjoy it. The theatre that I mentioned is completely student run. So obviously students act in the shows, they do all the staging, they do the lighting, the electrics. We recently did a performance of Little Shop of Horrors just before Christmas, which went really well. The general public can come and watch, as can the parents as well. So it's a big production. Each year we do one of those, professional standard, which is a lovely offering. And as I mentioned earlier, we focus on the whole person development. So yes, we're very academically selective, and we expect a high standard in the academics, but as much so in the whole rounded development, so with the sporting, music and art offerings as well. Sharing experience is very important to us, so we love to include everybody and share different things from different cultures, different foods, different experiences. We recently celebrated the Chinese New Year in the boarding community, Halloween, which you can see here, and different sorts of celebrations. Something we're really good at is integrating the boarding houses with each other and with the day pupils. So every student here, even if their day has a house that they go to, so they may be assigned to a day house or to a boarding house. So the boarding students and the day students really do come together, which I think is a nice integration. I know it can be a worry about maybe a separation. So no, they're completely part of school borders as much as day. So we have one prep school boarding house from age 9 through to 12, and that's a co-educational, and then boys sleep on one side, girls on the other side. It's really lovely and a really family feel, and the house parents actually there have children of a similar age to the boarders there who live there. So it's an all very family atmosphere, which is really lovely. These are sort of the spacious bedrooms you can see, and then the common room with their games that they can enjoy as well. We then have 4 senior school boarding houses. So we have 2 boys, 2 girls, and they are female and male from year 9 through to year 13. And 70% of those are ensuite bedrooms, which is really nice. Have a bit more privacy, obviously, as they get a bit older as well. These were only opened and built 6 years ago, so they're very modern, very fresh spaces. You can see this is one of the girls' boarding houses, nice and tidy. This is their common room in the boys' boarding houses, and this is one of the boys outside. So they're all of a really high standard and are kept really nice. They can go back there in their break times, use the kitchen, make toast, sort of relax. These are some of the bedrooms, and then they get an ensuite as well. And then exam results and outcomes. So we're very lucky to have had 90% of students were awarded A star to B in their A levels last year. 6 students Oxbridge, so we sent 4 students to Cambridge last year university and 2 students to Oxford University, and then 75 went to Russell Group universities as well. And as you can see, excellent GCSE results. We offer 24 A-level options, which you can see here, and they can do different combinations. So normally they'll choose 3 A-levels for years 12 and 13, and they can do 4 if they choose maths and further maths as well. So that's a bit of an overview of college, and I'll be very happy to take any questions. Stop sharing now, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you very much for your presentation. 想問下家長有冇問題問？暫時定係可以留到 speak out room 問都得嘅。
我想問下咧，佢喺香港即係 international students 嗰個比例，and then 香港嗰個比例又有幾多咁？
Oh, okay. So Jenny, can you share about the international student number demography, like how many are actually from Hong Kong or China in terms of among those international students?
Yes, sorry, I lost you a little bit there. Is that number of students from Hong Kong that we have?
Yes, number of students from Hong Kong and China, and also other nationality mix.
Yes, of course. So we have a roughly, I think it's 20 students from Hong Kong and China at the moment. And then we have a couple of Italian students, Spanish, Irish, Russian students as well. And somewhere else I'm forgetting. I'd say that's the main mix, Taiwanese students as well.
Okay, so around those, so among those about 40-ish international students in the boarding house, about 20 are from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
OK， 係啦，咁大概40幾人喺個international student 啦，咁其實咧佢哋嗰個 boarding house 咧有150幾人嘅，咁啊40幾50個 international student，100個係 local student 啦，咁我嗰40幾50個international student 裏面大概20個係香港學生，其餘嘅咧就有台灣啊、中國啊、俄羅斯啊、一啲歐洲嘅國家咁樣樣咯。
好，唔該晒。
係咪有其他家長想問一問嘢？Sorry, Jenny. So I've got one question. Someone just PM me. Can you share about, because on your slides you mentioned that for the results for the A star to B, it's about 89%. How about A star A? And do you have previous year's data for you to share with parents?
Yes, let me find it out. Is that okay? I don't have it to hand right now, but yeah, absolutely. So previous years, yep, of course.
Yep.
I think it's a similar level, but I'd want to double check just before I tell you. That's okay, but yeah, definitely I can find that out and share.
Okay. How about maybe we can start with Joe from Stamford to share about the school, and then in the meantime you can try to find out the figures. So in later time you can share with us. Is that okay for you?
Perfect. That's fine. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Okay. So so let us also welcome the last presentation of today, Joe from Stamford. Stamford, it's a little bit interesting setup, so people may misunderstood. There are actually 3 schools or 1 school.
Oh, Jonathan, don't worry.
Yeah, I know that you will talk about it. Yeah, so Stamford 咧呢間學校咧，我哋就講咗啦，咁佢就喺比較近Cambridge 等等嘅地方啦。咁咧 Jo 咧就會同大家介紹一下學校啦。咁佢哋學校咧咁就分男校、女校啦。喺嗰個初中嘅時候，去到高中咧就會撈翻埋一齊嘅。係啦，咁就等佢嘅啫。Sorry, Joe. I know you don't understand what I'm talking about, but it's all good. To you, Joe. Thank you.
So firstly, I'd like to just thank Jonathan, Natalie, Susan and the team at Skyreach for arranging the call today, and welcome to everybody. I'm really lucky that I'm not here alone. Oh goodness, I'm hoping my slide will change and it hasn't. There we go. That Annika Davis has just snuck into the call as well. So she's a house parent and a teacher. So Annika, I don't know if you can say hi. So Annika's here too. So she is going to be brilliant, I hope, at answering all your questions about specific day-to-day things. But really, you're stuck with me for this first part. If you have any questions while I'm talking, equally feel free to interrupt. Fab. So the history of Stamford, I'm just going to start really briefly with a little bit of our history, because the school's been here a very long time. So actually we can actually see Annika's house in this picture as well. So in this top picture here, Annika's house is actually just here on the right, which I wish I'd planned. So the schools were established in 1532 and they survived the turbulent 1500s, in no small part to one of our early students being William Cecil, who went on to become a chief advisor to Elizabeth I. And the ins and outs of it were essentially there was a big rebellion during the 1500s and a lot of schools and establishments were closed, but William Cecil managed to protect his former school Stamford, his former university Cambridge, along with other prestigious institutions including Eton and Oxford University. So the schools are an integral part of the town, because they've been there so long. The schools were set up to educate the children of Stamford and originally only educated boys. And I'll move on to that in a moment, because it was unthinkable originally to educate girls. Overall, the school and the town work collaboratively together. And we have many projects which support local businesses, such as Shop Stamford, and partnering with over 100 local businesses in our business directory. Especially if anybody's interested in B&O and businesses over here, it would be something that we'd be really keen to discuss with you. Finally, before I move on, I'd just like to mention that Stamford was voted the best place to live in the UK by the Times in 2019, which feels like a long time ago, but not a lot has happened over here since 2019, so it is still quite relevant. Okay, so the diamond model. Now, this is what Jonathan was speaking about a moment ago. So Stamford grew up as a boys' school for boys between 11 and 16. And over the years, we've grown into what is called a diamond school here in the UK, which means we have juniors are taught in a co-ed environment, so boys and girls together. Then at 11, boys go to Stamford School and girls go to Stamford High. And at 16, after they take their GCSEs, they come back together for sixth form. We're currently going through a scoping exercise to to establish whether this is still the best model for teaching our pupils, and whether the differences between boys and girls are as broad as we always thought, or whether by bringing the girls and boys together, we can actually create our classes in different ways which better mirror the way they want to learn. So the way we're scoping this at the moment is we're in discussions with our current families, past families and incumbent families to decide whether or not this is something that we should carry on with, or whether that needs to change. Now, the decision will be made on this in May, and we'll be going out to everybody, and obviously the team at Skyreach, and explaining to them the decision and how we got there. Okay. So at the moment, the school is just over actually 1,600 pupils, and the basic split, I mean, Annika's probably much more accurate than I am, but essentially we're 400 juniors, we're 400 boys between 11 and 16, 400 girls between 11 and 16, and 400 sixth formers. So although 1,600, right. Yeah, thank goodness. Although 1,600 is a big figure, the group of 400 that your child will be learning in is much more the average size of an independent school in the UK. Out of those pupils, we have 172 boarders, 33 of whom are internationals, coming from 12 different countries. And we're very lucky that our international base is diverse, and that even though we are predominantly Hong Kong and Chinese, those are spread out across the years. So Annika has younger boys, and you've got Hong Kong boys with you. There's some in our older houses and in the girls' school as well. So they are nicely spread out. I will mention it in a moment, but we do structure our boarding slightly differently to a lot of schools. So our boarding is structured by year groups. So we have a junior house, which is co-ed for pupils under 11. And then, like I mentioned, Annika's house, which is for boys that are in year 7, 8 and 9. We have a girls' house for girls in years 7 and 8. And then we sort of senior boys that are still in middle school. So while they're doing their GCSEs, they're in a house together for years 10 and 11, and then sixth form boarding, again, girls and boys. So whenever your child joins, if they're joining at a point for any of the programs here, GCSE, A-level or pre-A-level, the chances are they're joining the house with some other children who are just starting at the school, or are just moving, even if they've been within the school, into that house. So at GCSEs, I'll quickly go through our results, and then I'll tell you about the options that we have. So GCSEs, as I mentioned, are split girls and boys. So GCSEs A is an A to A star, 60% of girls are getting A's to A star, and 52% of boys. A star to C, 98% of girls and 99% of boys. So there's clearly a lot of boys getting B's, is what I read from that. We offer 28 A-level subjects, and students are normally encouraged to choose 3 A-levels, or 1 BTEC and 1 A-level. And the A-level grades there are A star to B, 75%, and A star to C, 98%. 95% of our pupils achieve their first choice destination after they leave us. Now, we work very hard within the careers team at Stamford to make sure that pupils are counselled for where they want to go next. For example, I think it was actually 2 years ago, we had pupils that wanted to become Norland nannies, who are the nannies that the Royals use, and they wanted to get onto the Norland programme, and it's incredibly competitive. So the careers team worked with them. They need the really good grades, but they also need childcare experience, because we will go from nursery, they're able to access childcare experience within schools, within the community, and build their CV. It's really and increasingly important that pupils aren't just getting the grades, but they're building their CV around that, whether that's sports clubs, activities, and volunteering outside of school, so that the universities see them as a well-rounded pupil that brings something to that community. So talking about that, I'll just quickly cover our facilities. So as you can probably imagine, for a school that houses so many pupils, we do need a lot of facilities. So we have 54 buildings and a further 60 acres of grounds, which, when you consider we are a town centre school, that's a big site. We have 2 swimming pools, 3 sports halls, 2 fitness suites. The list goes on. It's on the screen. I don't need to explain it all to everybody. because our main offering, and within the region that we're competing with grammar schools within the region for our UK day pupils, which make just under 90% of our role. And so we need to make sure that the pupil, why would they choose Stamford? And it's because we offer opportunity, individuality and support, as well as the amazing facilities and staff. Stamfordians are being prepared for the boardroom of their future. So we want to understand what they see in their future and prepare them for that. Whether they choose to leave us to become to go to university to become a doctor or a lawyer, or equally, as I mentioned, whether they want to become a Norland nanny. I'll let Annika talk about the drama venues. We have drama venues that seat between 70 to 400 people. This means that whatever the performance, they can do a performance in a venue where they're comfortable performing. Sorry, I probably didn't reference Annika actually teaches drama, which is why she'd be the best person to talk to about that facility. All of our pupils have access to a Surface Pro device. So when they start our school, they're given a Microsoft Surface Pro, and this has been brought in sort of off the back of all of our lessons having to move to Teams 2 years ago. So all of our pupils are given the same device, and that Teams lessons and using the Surface Pro as how everybody can work. It means that from a teaching perspective, if there's an issue, it's not just the same software. It is, as everybody probably knows from using Zoom, the buttons move around depending what device you're on. Whereas we give all the pupils the same device, which gives the teachers the ability to be able to support within those devices. Equally, we are still using pen and paper. And while the students still have to do written exams, it's still really important that they are able to convey their answers through pen and paper. We offer over 400 clubs, from dissection club to Harry Potter club to all sorts of arts, dramas, sports. I mean, we do a sport called Fives, which I'd be surprised if anybody's heard of outside of a very small niche of schools over here. So we have pupils that take part in all sorts of things outside of school as well. So it just came to mind a moment ago, we have one of our Hong Kong pupils that's part of the Leicester Riders development squad, which is a basketball team in Leicester, which is probably as close as Peterborough. I know Jonathan mentioned Peterborough a few times when he was explaining where we are. We're sort of equally between Peterborough and Leicester. Our full boarding fee is £32,750, and this does include the issue of the device. So just to be really clear, as far as our most common entry points are year 10, but we'll take pupils before year 10 in any year group. We can take pupils into year 11 on a pre-A programme, and we do take pupils into year 12. Obviously, we'd work with SkyReach for preparing your documents and anything that you would need for that. So yeah, if there's any questions.
Apologies, I'm just going to shut my door because my dog's barking.
Not to worry.
Okay, so thank you, Joe, for your quick introduction. Sorry, because when you are, I'm not sure if the screen was freeze or you actually didn't put in a PowerPoint, but when you're talking about a figure, I couldn't hear quite clearly about the results and stats. Is it okay if you can repeat that slide again?
Yeah, of course. Oh, sorry, the results, the figures weren't on the slide. Would you like me to here you go. What I'll do, Jonathan, if you just give me a moment, and I will pop them onto the slide so you can see them.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I won't be a moment. Are there any other questions whilst I'm just quickly popping that together?
John 可唔可以問一問佢咧？我睇見佢有1600人啦，1600人之中有170幾係 boarders 啦， and then 又有33個人係 international students 啦。咁係咪即係意思佢得33個係 overseas 嘅？咁而33個之中又有幾多係 offer 俾香港咧？
哦，可以啊。Okay, so Joe or while you doing your PowerPoint, one of the parents was asking, out of the 100-ish students, about 30 ish are with are international students. So the rest are local students in the boarding house?
Yes, so we've got 170 boarders, of which 33 are international. Can you see those results now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Of which 33 are international. So yeah, the others are British boarders. We have a mixture of full and part British boarders. We're quite lucky that we do have a number of full British boarders through a programme that's called CEA here in the UK. It's quite a lot of detail to go into, but it does mean that even at weekends, we do have British boarders in houses. We're very lucky that it doesn't we don't drain all the British children out at weekends.
Okay.
From
so,
Jonathan, from my point of view, running a junior boarding house, during the week I can have anything from 16 to 20 boys. It's a small, very family friendly house. At the weekends, I'm between 8 and 10 boys who remain in, and that is a complete mixture of some students who live very locally, some students who live internationally, some students whose parents travel quite a lot. So we're never down to tiny numbers at the weekend. We've always got enough happening, and we organise activities as well, so that it's a both relaxing weekend, but also an opportunity for us to do things together and have fun together. And yeah. So it's never, we don't go down to mini numbers, and we keep a range of both international and British students all year round.
Okay, so some of the students are, I can assume some of the students are weekly boarder, so they go home, and
yes.
Out of those boarders. So during the weekend, some of the students aren't there, but you still have enough of the full boarders are occupying in the boarding house over the weekend. Can I
That's right.
say that?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
So out of those 33 international boarders, can we have a figure of how many Hong Kong students are there?
So yeah, out of the 33, 12 of those are Hong Kong.
OK， 係啦，咁咧佢33個 international student 嚟講咧，12個係香港嘅學生。Sorry. So how about Chinese? Two. OK， 兩個中國學生啦，係啦。咁另外咧，佢都將個 figure 擺咗去。咁佢其他嗰啲咧就係英國嘅 border 嚟嘅，即係英國人嚟嘅。其他嗰啲係。
咁即係睇成佢哋嗰個 international 嘅收生比例係非常少啊 ，out of 1,600喎。
係啊，其實係非常少嘅。
OK， 明白。
係啦，但係就OK。So Joe, another parents ask about fee because maybe you talk about it a little bit too quick. So
Sorry.
She wants to know about the fee as well. Can you put it up? Thank you.
Yeah, it is. I'll pop it on the bottom of this slide. I've got access to this now, so I can literally do it as we speak. So 32. There we go. And that's per annum. So is that okay? Can everybody see? Is that updating?
Yep.
Perfect.
Is that across all years or that's for GCSE?
So that's our international fee, and that is from year 7.
Okay, because some of the school they had a higher fee in lower 6 and upper 6. No,
we have the same. Our international fee is set at that for every year. So
okay.
The same if they do every year.
OK， good。OK， 咁佢嗰個費用咧就係由Year 7啦，即係中一去到中7咧都係32750 per year 嘅。咁嗱，咁我仲用中文講啦。咁咧其實佢個費用都幾平下嘅，係啦，都幾平下嘅。咁但係咧係啦，咁但係咧你可以睇翻啦。咁佢嗰個GCSE 啊 A level 成績咧，咁唔算超級好，係啦。咁咧就要睇翻本身小朋友嘅程度啦，本身佢考唔考得入啦，咁你再去考慮啊，睇睇啦。咁學校嚟講就好多英國學生嘅其實，咁我自己咧都有幾個朋友啦，其實喺呢間學校出嚟，咁 end up 其實都去啲好嘅學校，雖然佢成績話唔係話超好咁樣樣啦，咁但係咧 end up 幾個同學咧係 from 呢間學校，其實佢哋都即係入到啲好好嘅大學，同埋出到嚟做嘢都好好嘅。咁但係其實佢哋個成績個情況咧就冇之前嗰兩間學校咁好咯，係啦。咁但係咧你都可以留意，咁就唔係淨係睇成績嘅。Sorry Joe, I hijacked your slides for a bit in Cantonese. I've just mentioned that from in terms of the boys' result, it isn't as great as girls. And in terms of A-level results, sometimes it's not as strong as some other school outside, for example, Cardiff or whatsoever you mentioned. Yeah. But then I've just let them know that result isn't the only thing they look for, because I've actually got 3 mates from Stamford, and they end up they went into a really good university, and although when we are in secondary schools, they are not the best mates, well, in terms of results, but they went into the best school in the UK, and they get one of the highest paid job among the pals. So I've just mentioned that the result isn't the only thing they should look into.
Yeah, I mean, we had 2 pupils go to Cambridge last year, so if the pupils are capable, they'll get those top flight universities. We equally had students go off to Kiel to do medicine. It really does depend. I mean, our intake is quite, I mean, Anna can vouch for this, quite diverse. So
yes, understood. And obviously because of the school size, then we can understand that you couldn't put all those students to get all A across all subjects.
Yeah, we can't do what Gareth does at Cardiff. Yeah.
Yes, well understood. 係啦，咁咧學校咧就比起其他嘅學校嚟講咧，由於佢嗰個學校嘅學生數量比較多啦，咁所以咧其實你見到成績咧就比較 spread out 少少。咁呢個咧都係一啲叫做中上游嘅大校啦，佢哋有嘅情況嚟嘅。咁就唔似得一啲可能中型啲嘅學校咧就可以好 focus 你去谷你啦咁樣。Sorry Joe, I've got one final question for you. So yeah, out of those, because of the student size, what is the staff or teacher to student ratio average in senior school, and particularly in lower 6 and upper 6?
So it will purely depend on the subject, and for practical subjects we're always trying to keep the ratio slightly lower, just to give access to equipment and facilities, and it will purely depend on the uptake for that subject each year. So sometimes you could go into, we offer 28 A-level subjects, so sometimes the subjects can be slightly undersubscribed, but we will run with as few as sort of 5, but we would be looking, once we get to sort of 10 or 12 within those subjects, that's when we'll be looking at running a second group. And
Shall I pitch in? Jonathan, I teach A-level drama and theatre studies, which is quite a popular subject at A-level here. We range our class sizes, our uptake, it can be up to about 24, but we split those classes into a maximum of 12 per group. And that tends to be a similar sort of idea across what I would say popular subjects. When I say popular, I just mean, you know, they are a little bit more traditional and what have you. You can have some subjects that might be as small as 3 or 4 students, very specialist, very niche, very much playing to particular student strengths. And then you might have slightly bigger subjects, but nothing would ever go beyond 12 to 16 at A level.
OK, good。係啦，咁咧就學校嚟講咧，咁就主要係即係大部分科目咧，其實咧都係12人即係一班嘅。咁佢有啲最細嗰啲就5人一班啦，有啲就去到10啊、12啊咁樣。咁如果超過呢個數嘅，譬如去到20人咁樣咧，咁就會 split 開做2 group 去上堂咁樣咯。因為其實我見到佢嗰個學生嘅數字都幾大啦，咁但係咧就所以就問咗個師生比例啫，係啦咁樣，係啦。咁唔知大家仲有冇其他問題？暫時 So if there's anyone want to ask further questions, or would you like to split into a small room to ask, please feel free to type in the chat box or WhatsApp us 係啦。咁咧大家咧就如果想單獨同學校去傾啊、見面啊，咁咧可以WhatsApp 我哋啦，或者係喺個 chat box 嗰度講翻嘅。 Sorry, Jenny. Have you got the updated slides from your side while you're finding the figures and things?
Sure. Yeah, so for 2020, so I told you the 2021, for 2020, it's 86% of results were A star to B. So I can update the slide and share that again with you. Is that the best way? Are there any other questions I could answer?
No, for now. Okay. So yep, we've got some parents would like to split room to ask. So for now, we have a split room session. If for those who have no more questions, obviously you can talk to me or you can leave the room. Thank you for coming. But for now, we'll split the room just a second. Let me just arrange. So for the first, Patrick 我諗咧，淨係擺佢上嗰個即係有要傾嗰個就擺入去先，係啦。Okay, Jenny, thank you for the figure. We can see that here. Thank you.
Sure.
Hello Susanna， 想問下你有冇嘢你想問咩？
問緊。